Welcome to Grizzly Mountain for my first Farming Simulator 19 first look mod map tour with me, MrSealyp. So this is it, ladies and gents. This is my first look map tour of a new map, a modded map on Farming Simulator 19. I'm on Grizzly Mountain and this is by the FDR Logging Team. They've done quite a few maps before. Jade Mountain, Pacific Inlet, Smoky Mountain, Emerald Valley. That's it. Trying to think now. But anyway, yeah, done a few. And I like the stuff they do. If you like forestry, you're going to like this map. There's plenty to choose from. Before I start, at the start, what we'll do is we'll go into here, and here is our map. I'll zoom out a little bit. Now you've got a lot of different areas here. We start off at Old Bill's cabin, so we are just kind of, well, I suppose just left of Central. Probably, yeah, to the west of Central. This is Cassie, I think it's Cassie Way. That's the main road. We've got a few different roads and we've got a few different things to look at. First impressions by looking at the map as well. And another thing I like about FDR logging is because they are loggers. They play logging. They do multiplayer. They've made this a challenge, and I like that. I think it's really good. They want it to be a challenge, but they've also added in some really cool elements. Because I know, generally speaking, people that aren't necessarily into logging maps found that some of their other ones weren't really particularly conducive to playing normally, whereas this is completely different. So anyway, we start off with, and I've started this off on new farmer mode. I put it on new farmer and I've got it set on normal because I wanted to see on new farmer mode what equipment do you start with. On farm manager you start with a load of money but no equipment and no land, and on start from scratch you start with barely a little bit of money, not a huge amount, but again with nothing. So I wanted to see what you actually start with, and that's what we're going to do. What I'm going to do is, for this first look map tour, I'm going to head down the map south. We're going to go to Grizzly Mountain Sawmill, have a look down there. Then we're going to come across the map east, following this road here, to Grizzly Farms, up towards South Wing Lake. We've got Salem's Marsh, we've got Boar Lake, Boar Creek. We've got the Boar Creek FSR. FSR stands for Forest Service Road. So we've got the Boar Creek Forest Service Road, and we've got the Grizzly Mountain Forest Road. We've got the Grizzly Mountain itself, which we'll have a look at, and Pentaka, I think it's Pentaka Lake. Now all of these areas here have designations, and I think that's a forestry thing. I'm not 100% certain, I think it is. So if you're playing multiplayer on a map like this and you want to log a particular area, it's far easier to just say the area with the digits and the letters than it is to say, oh yeah, just off the road. You know, it makes it far easier for logging generally. And they have the areas normally marked off by trees with markings, I think, around each area. But we'll have a look at that in a minute as well. So while we're on this map as well, prices for plots of land. Now, if I go on this menu, because I'm on new farmer mode, we start off with some land, and we start off with a fair chunk of it, probably about a quarter of the map, maybe, probably about a quarter of the map. That's a big old chunk of land to be starting off with, but it comes with its challenges. We've got a lot of waterways here, and some of these bits are going to be very difficult to get to, so you have to use a bit of cunning and a bit of skill to log them. When we come onto this bit here, if I click on there, price wise, the prices are phenomenal. Now people may complain, I've got mine set on normal. That plot of land, that massive plot, is 197,765. Not a million, not 1.5 million, not 800,000, 197,000. Now, could they have made the prices a little bit more expensive? Possibly, maybe. But they want you to enjoy the logging aspect of it, I guess. I suppose half the challenge then would be you've got to build up enough money to buy the next plot of land to log. I kind of get that. So are the plots underpriced? Maybe a little bit. That one is only 42,000. That one is 50,000. That one's 45,000. 33,000. Like I say, they're not hugely expensive plots of land, but that in itself is a good thing. You don't want to be banging your head against a brick wall, having to put in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours just to be able to have enough money to buy the next little plot as you move along. Some people do, and some people will do that, but you know, personally I think that's good. I think the prices are pretty good, so that's not bad at all. Now, what do we start with? We've got a pickup, and we've got this log cabin. This is old Bill's cabin. Now, this is not a sleepover skip night place. This is just a cabin where you start, and there's a little parking bay next to it, and we have a pickup. So I'm going to jump in my pickup, and we're going to head west first and then south down Cassie Highway. You can go left that way, the little footpath, and as you can see there are trees marked already here. First as well, I keep saying first impressions, but something I'm really impressed with, and I think occasionally maybe on some of their previous maps they could have been accused of only having the same sort of trees across a big chunk of the map, you know. But what I like on this one is there is a real wide range of trees available. It's not all the same type of tree, they're not all the same size. What I also like as well, just by, you know, the first drive out of here, you've got some really densely packed forestry and woodland, and you've got some quite open expanses. So we're going to head south, down towards the sawmill. A few of the initial things that we need are kind of down here. As far as the equipment goes, I'm going to show you that in a moment. That road leads off east, and that takes us to the Grizzly Farms area. Got a few buildings on the side here, and we go into the first kind of compound area, so we're heading south. This is the Grizzly Mountain Sawmill complex. Now what we've got here is a fuel station, just here. We've got a customization point for our vehicles, just here. Little workshop, we've got a cash point if you need it, just over there. And over the back here we've got our buy and sell point. If you should need to reset a vehicle at any point, roll it down a hillside, mountainside, leave it in a river, something like that, and you can't get it out. If you reset vehicles, they reset to this point just here. So that's the first of the bits. There's not actually a sell point here, and here's another piece of machinery we own. Now this is the other thing I want to bring up very, very quickly. These are the only two pieces of equipment we own. Again, I think what they're going for is for you to kind of build up that experience of logging. To start off with, I don't even think we haven't even got a chainsaw. Buy yourself a chainsaw for $1,000 and start off cutting down trees by hand, and off you go. You haven't got a tractor, there's no Scorpion King, there's no Komatsu. What's cool about this as well, I only mentioned this a couple of days ago, was that on when I was on Ravenport, was it? Or Felsburn? I think it was Ravenport. That they did all that big thing about Komatsu being in the game, and in the first two maps they gave us, there really wasn't much forestry. This is going to allow you to stretch the legs of some of that new equipment, including this, the Man TGX, isn't it? I think it's the TGX 26640. So again, we'll just very, very quickly click on here, and we'll go to garage. That's all you start with. You start with that and 100,000. Not very much for new farmer mode. You do have a lot of land, don't get me wrong, but that's all the equipment you start with. The other thing I want to point out is, and I'm going to zoom in now, is the slot count. The slot count is pretty good, considering it's a fair sized map, but then I suppose, to be fair, it's just trees on it. There's not, you know, there's a few bits on it, but that says 364 out of 1,299 slots, which means available, there are 935 slots available. That's if you start on new farmer mode with these two pieces of equipment. If you take those two pieces of equipment off, you've got even more slots than that. My advice personally would be to start on Farm Manager. Yes, you've got to buy the land, but the land's not particularly expensive to buy, and you've got more money to play with to buy more equipment. So whilst new farmer seems quite enticing in the much as you've got land, you've got property, you've got buildings, you've got equipment, on this particular map you don't actually start with a lot. So realistically, it doesn't matter what mode you start on, It will just come down to money, and the fact that obviously on start from scratch and farm manager you won't actually have any land to start off with, but it's not too pricey. So that being said, let's jump back in our pickup. This is a very large structure here, and it is, as far as I can make out, just to cover for the bridge. But it's a big old structure for a bridge cover. It's huge, absolutely huge. But anyway, so we come into the sawmill itself. On the right hand side we've got our sell point for timber, lumber, wood, and just over here we've got our sell point for wood chips, should you decide to wood chip instead. Through there we've got a bit of a gap, takes you out into one of the other forestry areas. There's a bit of a lake right next to it, and like I say, some of these bits are going to be, they're tricky to get to. You're going to have to overcome some challenges. I've seen some videos lately of people building bridges, cutting down trees and building bridges across rivers, people filling up gaps in rivers with wood chips, people, obviously, because you can use a landscaping tool, maybe you might want to change some stuff. I don't know, it's entirely up to you. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to show every part of the journey because the drives between them are quite long and might take quite a while. I'm going to head, actually probably better off showing you on this one. I'm going to head from here north again. We're going to go follow this route along. I might do a little bit of it past Salem Marsh and Harbour Island, and we're going to head down towards this area here to Grizzly Farms by South Wing Lake. There's a lot of different stuff going on, and I think that's really, really cool. So I'll see you around there, or part way around there, in a moment. So one thing I've noticed on my drive round here is that this portion of the map is incredibly flat, and a lot of the woodland, a lot of the trees, the forestry is far more sparse, further apart. Unlike the first bit where we started by Old Bill's cabin, it's a lot more spaced out, so they're giving you all these different elements and different kind of options. Now what's good is, and what they didn't always put into their previous maps, was the ability to, whilst you could do farming, something I've noticed, there wasn't a BJ on the map, was there? Ooh, that's an interesting one. But anyway, we've got a sell point here, which is the ranch sell point. We'll have a quick look on here. We've only got the barn, the ranch, the sawmill, the spinnery. We've already been to the sawmill, we know what they sell there. The ranch, you can sell all your normal crops here. I've got this on normal, so prices aren't fantastic, but they're okay. Then we've got the barn and the spinnery. So this is the sell point, the ranch sell point. This here is your spinnery. Just around here is the barn sell point, so it's all kind of clustered in one area. And we've got South Wing Lake just over here. I have to say the lighting and the detailing and the textures and the water, and it's great. It really is good. Anyway, and then over here we've got the livestock market, and what I think is good is this bottom section of the map. We'll zoom out. This whole section here that we start off with is all incredibly flat, all around here. And if you wanted to, you can clear the area of trees and farm. There's no reason at all why you can't clear some of these areas of all the trees and have livestock. It is more than plausible. Put some crops in the ground, have some animals, so they are kind of catering now for both sides of it. It's not just this is a forestry map. Kind of look at it as you did with Alien Jim Spectacle Island. You've got to clear some of these trees away for your farmland, kind of thing, and I like that. I like that concept a lot. So those are your sell points just here. We'll jump back in the pickup and I'll show you what I mean. You can see really from here out towards Grizzly Mountain, which is just there, just north of us now. It's flat. You know, there are some waterways. I like the fact there's a lot of deadfall on the ground, and like I say, there's a real mixture of trees. You know, all sorts of different types here. But you can clear big patches of this and put in your animals and some fields and whatever. Set yourself up like a little homestead, a farmstead. And that's nice. I like that. I know I keep saying that, but it's good. It's good. I like that a lot. So what we're going to do now, we're going to head northward. So there we've got Salem's Marsh just over to the right hand side. That if you're into swamp logging, you're going to enjoy it over there. There was a series on telly in the UK a little while ago, Swamp Loggers, Extreme Logging and all different ones like that. But anyway, I digress. So what I'm going to do, like I say, I'm going to head this way, back out to Cassie Highway, then we're going to head north up past Old Bill's cabin. So we're going to come back out here, up past Old Bill's cabin, up towards this top end, towards Pentaka Lake, and then out to the forest service roads. We'll probably go up Grizzly Mountain first, and then we'll go out Boar Creek, out towards, yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. That's the plan. So I'll head out that way and I'll see you en route momentarily. So as we head up towards Pentaka Lake, we are heading north, up to the northwest portion of the map. You notice the terrain's changed. There's more undulations. It's a bit more hilly. It's a bit more bumpy. The flat land and the marshy swamp area we've left behind. Kind of in the foothills of the mountain, I guess. And Pentaka is just over here. I will drive out to it, be a little bit quicker. There you go. Now we're going to head to the Forest Service Road, the Grizzly Mountain one. I'll show the route up and get into the top, and then coming back down, because we'll have done it, it'll just be the reverse. We'll come back down again. I mean, there are probably quicker routes down, which involve parachutes and crumpled, mangled wreckage, but we'll probably come back down using the road. It's probably a lot safer. No shortage of forestry. I've always kind of thought, I've done forestry on various different maps and I've enjoyed doing it immensely. I really do enjoy doing forestry, but I do think a forestry map is probably best played on multiplayer with friends, you know, where you're all working together. I'll put the map on the corner again. I don't know, I don't know why, it's kind of a feeling I have. So we're now off the main sort of tarmacked metalled road onto the Forest Service Road. We're going to take a right here at the Grizzly Mountain one. It's still fairly flat. There's a few little undulations, but once we turn this corner here, we start heading up, and we do make rapid progress in elevation fairly quickly. But what I like as well is they haven't made it overly easy. You've got quite a few drops and slopes and stuff either side, and it's not just pull off the main road and do some forestry. There are areas on this map you're really going to have to think about. You know, if you set yourself a challenge or a target of clearing the forest up on the mountain, it's going to be quite an undertaking to do, you know. Getting some of those bigger lorries up here on the winding track is going to be a challenge in itself. Don't want to go too fast, but as we look out to our left, again, we see how far we've come up away from the kind of, say, the valley floor, kind of the valley floor. It's impressive stuff. Whoa, okay. This is an interesting one. Oh my God, I feel dizzy just looking at that. That's just me. Wow, okay. That's impressive. Oh, blimey. Yeah, you have to be careful getting some of your equipment up here. I like that. Wow, that's narrow. So's this. Off camber. Ooh, blimey. Anyway, continuing on. Up the mountain. Thankfully we're now turning in, I think. Yeah, away from the cliff edge and constant terror. I'm not good with heights, generally speaking, anyway. And the fact is, even in the game, you can look and think, whoa, that's good stuff. Anyway, nearly there. Up to the peak of Grizzly Mountain. And again, it's not just your bog standard, here's a road, blah, 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 you know. The detail and landscaping around it, it's been nicely thought out. I like the fact the roads are raised up a little bit. Again, you've got to really think about how you're going to do this. It means bringing your logs to your lorries. You're not going to be able to drive your forestry lorries and trailers necessarily directly off unless you use a forwarder, which people generally don't tend to use. They'll use the logging equipment and take it to a waiting truck and off they go. And they're kind of, in a way, forcing you to use that type of equipment. And that's good in itself. So we are a fair way up. That's brilliant. And we are on Grizzly Mountain. Up at the summit. Very cool indeed. I like this. Wow. Okay, so we've reached the summit of Grizzly Mountain. What we'll do now is head back down and we'll head out the Boar Creek Forest Service Road. Oh, that's pretty cool. Little mini lake. Every river has to start somewhere. Very, very cool. Anyway, like I say, there are quicker routes down, but I think I'll probably use the road. It'll be safer that way. So I'll see you back down at the bottom, probably back down at the junction where we split off to come up here, and then we'll head out along the Boar Creek Forest Road and see where that takes us. Okay, we're back down safely. No parachutes, no damage. When we get to the fork, we're going to turn right. If my map reading skills are good enough. And up the Boar Creek Service Road. Quite a lot of flat area out here as well. So if you wanted to kind of set your farm up, clear some trees, and I know the Scorpion King and the Komatsu 9, I can never remember the number on that. It's the 9 something or other, isn't it? It's the 975? I want to say 975. 931. Why did I say 975? Because that's an 875. There we go. Won't do all trees, I know that, and I think as well by chucking in a variety, it again becomes that challenge of it's not just all backwards and forwards cutting down straight trees. Some of them are designed to be challenging. You've got to use a chainsaw and that kind of thing, which I think in itself is quite cool. So you know, for some of the straighter longer ones it's easier to wood chip. For some of the other ones, clear the branches off, load them onto a lorry, you know, I don't know, however you want to do it. But you know, I do like the fact this is kind of a nice part of the map, and you can see yourself setting up a little, you know, homestead and doing some fields and that kind of thing up this end of the map as well. So we are almost, according to the map, it's almost like a little placeable area at this end as well, isn't it? And we are in the northeast corner, I say corner of the map, kind of corner of the map, up by the start of Boar Creek. Again, lots of these little rivers, these little kind of tributaries, and some of these trees are going to be hard to get to. I like that. That's really, really cool. I don't know how deep these are for losing vehicles in, or how difficult it's going to be to get through. But there you go. That's pretty much it for the whole map. I'm thinking, have I covered everything? Yeah, we come down to the top of Boar Lake there. We didn't go around that bit. We kind of skirted around. We've done the main sell points. We've done the main points on the map. Up the top of the mountain, which is really cool. And there you go. That's it. Grizzly Mountain forestry map by the FDR Logging Team. it's really nice. I like this one. It's really good. I like the fact they've included a lot of stuff in here that, like I say, was potentially missing from their earlier ones. I like the fact there's a livestock market, but there's no BGA, which is an interesting one. But then I suppose, what would you put in the BGA? I suppose you could clear a load of land and do grass if you wanted to, and then try and fill a bunker silo if you wanted to do that. If you want to do silage bales, you can sell them at the barn. So I suppose you still can technically do silaging if you wanted to. But that's it from me on this first look map tour. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.